Happy Friday, Nashville. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We are bringing you into the long weekend and a lot of football this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Even tonight, we got a couple of good games. Excited to get into college football today. Andrew Allegretta from Vanderbilt Football is going to join us at 10:30 to preview the Commodores opener against Charleston Southern coming up tomorrow. Connor, appreciate you coming on. It's your first week of school, and you're back.
Yay. Yeah, it is the Connor Newt farewell tour at the campus of Middle Tennessee State University.
Yeah, your last first day of classes.
Yes. I capped it off the first day of school with a minor collision.
Oh.
In a parking lot.
That's always tough.
Yeah, it was my fault. But
again, Connor?
Minor though?
Yeah, very minor.
Okay.
Like it's not gonna cost me a lot. But,
good to hear.
But still, it's the fact that it happened is what pisses me off. But regardless, I'm here. I'm off every Friday now. So
we love it.
If you ever need, if you want to start Newt Fridays, I'm here.
Well, next Friday I won't be here, so maybe it'll be
Newt Fridays.
It might be a Newt Friday next week, as I will be en route to Blacksburg for Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech.
Home.
So I'll be up helping out in the booth for that one with Vanderbilt. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you want to chime in, we'd love to hear from you. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We got to start with the big news from yesterday.
About Michael?
About Elon and Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding.
I locked in on that game.
Kyle Schwarber hit 4 home runs yesterday.
Baseball ended in, July for me.
Not for me.
Yeah,
Tigers didn't play last night, though.
Yeah, I know. For you.
But yes, the big news, as Jerry Jones would say, Michael Parsons was traded to the Green Bay Packers yesterday. And I think, like most people, I was one of the people out there who was saying there's no chance he actually gets traded.
I was with you.
I guess we underestimated Jerry Jones and what he can do. So he did trade Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. And I don't know exactly what Dallas was thinking. I understand $47 million a year is a lot of money, but you traded away a guy who is at a premier position.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a top 10 player in the league, and he's just entering his prime. That usually isn't a formula for success when you're trading away a player. And we'll see, as it always is with these trades, you don't know who wins for a couple of years. Yes, you can say that the Cowboys shouldn't have made that trade, and I probably would agree with you, but you never know. If Micah can't stay healthy, if those first-round picks end up being higher than they typically are for the Packers, this could end up working out for Dallas. But right now, it doesn't look very good for Jerry Jones.
I mean, there's a couple things circulating the news that I'm dumbfounded that how you think you're going to get the support of the people and results. This is probably the top of those. You look at the trade on paper, and I saw it on paper yesterday. I was like, okay, 2 firsts is not a bad return. And then you get Kenny Clark, who's a all-pro level defensive tackle. Then you go a little bit deeper. And you think, okay, the Packers are going to be good. So those first-round picks are probably bottom 10 picks in the first round. You're probably drafting 20 to 30, 32, possibly.
Yeah. Usually the Packers are either in the playoffs or right around the playoffs.
And I think Micah Parsons, like we've talked about with the Titans, I think Micah Parsons makes you a win or two better than you actually are because he adds that element to your defense that Jerry apparently doesn't think he can stop the run, which he's phenomenal at stopping the run.
And Kenny Clark is a good player.
But he's 30.
But he is on the backside of his career, and I believe I saw he's coming off one of his worst seasons, maybe his worst season of his career. It's yeah, I get it. You got a player who can help you right now, and Jerry made a huge deal about how bad they were at stopping the run. And sure,
Micah Parsons is good.
Kenny Clark can help you with that. It all comes down to these 2 first-round picks. What do you do with them? And I'm starting to wonder if Jerry Jones is gearing up for one last rebuild. I'll put that in quotes because I think he's at the point in his life where he wants to get another Super Bowl before he, passes away.
Really? I don't think he cares about football anymore.
Really, that's where I think he's trying to do everything he can to gear up for one last run. And I wonder if that means using these picks to go get a quarterback next year. I understand Dak is under contract, but I think he might like Arch Manning. I'm wondering if that's where all of this is heading. Is
I thought about that.
He wants to have as much ammo as possible to try and go up and get Arch Manning to stay in the Lone Star State and see if he can turn him into the franchise quarterback for the last couple of years of Jerry Jones' life and go out and try and win a Super Bowl.
I talked to my uncle yesterday, who is a diehard Dallas Cowboy. First off, he was heartbroken. Like he was pissed. I'll just say that. And I don't blame him. I kind of sympathize with the Cowboys fans because they can't control what you want to talk trigger happy owners. Jerry Jones is the definition of trigger happy owner. They can't control what they do. But to go kind of counter your point, I'm kind of convinced Jerry doesn't care about football anymore. I'm convinced Jerry cares more about being the marketing machine that the Dallas Cowboys are, and maybe in a negative light, but they made some headlines yesterday.
They did. He said he wants to be a year-round soap opera. And
I mean, he got people talking about it.
He's living up to it.
Jerry is the definition of all press is good press, even if it's bad press. Jerry got some pretty bad press yesterday, right? You go watch that press conference, and it made him sound like a moron. Not sound, I think he is, but but you listen to that press conference and you kind of see, okay, I don't think this guy is in touch with what his football team actually is.
I mean, the most basic issue yesterday in that press conference was calling him Michael. It's like, are you really that out of touch with your team that you don't know his actual name? Like,
that's the thing about Jerry. I think he's out of touch with his team. Then we get to December and Jerry tries to start coaching. Like, he'll start making moves that don't need to be made. Like, remember when he traded for Amari Cooper? And maybe you could argue that put their receiving core a little bit over the top, but what came out of it?
Right.
Absolutely nothing. They made the playoff and lost.
The last 10 years, basically since Dak's rookie year, because Dak's rookie year, they were the number one seed in the NFC. So basically since 2016, they have been trying to find the missing piece to go make a run, and they just can't do it. They still haven't made the NFC Championship game since what, 1993?
It has been,
it's
over
been
30 years.
30 years, maybe a little bit more recently than that, but still, he's chasing one last run at it, and I'm wondering if maybe he realized that this core isn't going to be the group to do it. Chip from Mount Juliet on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com says, I'm a Packer guy, but you have to think, though, Dallas hasn't won the Super Bowl with Micah. Bengals didn't do it with Hendrickson. Raiders didn't do it with Crosby. Bears didn't do it with Khalil Mack. You need pieces surrounding him. I agree with that one pass rusher doesn't win you a championship.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, the Packers have multiple pass rushers. And
right.
Now you got the best of the best.
And I think they feel good about where their offense is. The Packers are going for it. And I think I saw yesterday it was like Brett Favre. He won his Super Bowl when he was 27. And was it Reggie White they traded for at that point? Or they traded for somebody.
It was Reggie White.
Was it Reggie White?
Yeah, because Micah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They brought in Reggie White.
Micah posted his video yesterday, and it was clips of Reggie White and then the Packers.
Aaron Rodgers at 27, they traded for Charles Woodson. Then they won the Super Bowl. Jordan Love, 27, they trade for Micah Parsons.
The Packers are the weirdest franchise of all time.
They somehow continue to be competitive every single year, and I don't know if I would pick them to win the Super Bowl this year, but
no,
it is the NFC, and I think you put yourself with this trade into that conversation with the Eagles, with the Lions. The Commanders, I guess, were in the NFC Championship game last year, but I would honestly put the Packers above Washington now.
I would too.
I think the Packers realize that the NFC is pretty wide open. The Eagles obviously are the favorite, but I think the Packers have put themselves in a really good spot for a chance to go and make one run at it this year. And yeah, you're now paying close to $100 million to two players.
Yeah.
So who knows how sustainable this is? You're probably going to have to cut a couple of key contributors over the next couple of years to stay under the cap. But
but they're young right now.
Right. You have an opportunity to go for it right now, and they took it. We'll see if it actually pays off and they can make a run this season. Let's go to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Our friend Adam from Portland is on the line wanting to talk Micah Parsons. Adam, good morning. What are your thoughts on this shocker of a trade?
Yeah, it's wild, man. I never thought it would have happened, but what ticks me off though, Jake, man, is that that's all they got for him was 2 firsts and a good player. Jeff Simmons would have been that good player. He's probably better than dude. So you might could have even got away with like a first and a second. I don't know, especially as high as your draft picks are. It angers me that the Titans didn't look for it. I know I love these guys who are like, oh, well, you're a long-term team and they're win now. The next 4 years, dude, like 2 years, we should be a good football team heading in the new stadium. Like Micah Parsons will help us now and help us later. So I don't know. I want to hear from somebody that says we at least made a phone call so that way I can sleep easy on this, because Jeff doesn't fit with the Titans that I want to see. And I think Tavondre Sweat would fit his spot. So you had Micah Parsons next to Tavondre Sweat. You got a pretty good front line on defense. So I don't know. It's wild to me that the Titans haven't even been talked about with this.
Yeah, Adam, we're going to get into that because I had the same thought of if you put Jeffrey Simmons in that trade instead of Kenny Clark, I don't know if you have to give up 2 firsts. Like if they're looking for the same price.
He had me and then he lost me.
But I also do think that Jerry's price probably started with 2 firsts.
He had me and then he said Jeffrey Simmons is better than Micah Parsons. And I'm like,
Man, no, I think he's saying Kenny Clark. Better than Kenny Clark.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Yeah, that's the point that I was
apologies,
going to
Adam.
make is that, yeah, I think maybe the price could have been a little lower if you included Jeffrey Simmons, but we'll get into that in a little bit here. Matthew Nashville, thanks for letting it. Reggie White not traded to the Packers. He signed there in free agency, but still.
Same result.
Ended up
Off-season acquisition.
being added to a team with, again, 27-year-old quarterback getting into his prime.
Young receivers.
We'll see.
They're a Super Bowl contender now with this move.
Right. And in the AFC, I don't know if they would be, because if Jordan Love goes into the playoffs and has to face Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes in 3 straight weeks, I don't know if Micah Parsons is even enough to win those games. But in the NFC, let's say they're the 2 seed and you have to face, I don't know, J.J. McCarthy, Brock Purdy, and Jared Goff in 3 straight weeks to make the Super Bowl, or Jalen Hurts. Like, it's possible. And I think the Packers have put themselves, at the very least, in the NFC Championship conversations.
Let me pose a question to you. We can get to this on the other side.
Let's do it.
Do you think that Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott?
We'll have that conversation coming up next. Let us know on our text line, too. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt with you on this Friday morning. We got plenty to get to throughout the show. Again, right now, reacting to the huge news from yesterday across the NFL. Micah Parsons traded to the Green Bay Packers. Dallas gets back 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. We'll continue talking about this. Also, had some college football last night. We'll react to a big upset, at least on paper. USF blowing out Boise State yesterday. First top 25 upset of the season. Also some Titans thoughts, and we'll get into a huge weekend of college football. Andrew Allegretta from Vanderbilt joins us at 10:30, and we'll go through the 3 top 10 matchups coming up over Labor Day weekend. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game.
firmly made a commitment to Michael this spring, Micah, to pay him. The minute that we saw that we were quite possibly were going to have an issue about whether or not we could do a contract or not, that gave us time. That gave us Imagineering. That coupled with bringing in a new coach and bringing in a new staff, we felt it fit for us to have more players, more excellent players, if we do a good job of acquiring those players, plus have a team this year that would give us a better chance, dare I say that? But absolutely, it's not a zero that we're dealing with as far as how much better that we were trying to be, even not having Mike.
That was Jerry Jones yesterday. One of his roundabout answers about why they decided to trade Micah Parsons. He did correct himself at least there when he said Michael off the top, but Jerry Jones didn't really have a lot of good answers for the reasons they traded one of the best defensive players in the league yesterday, sending him to the Packers for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you on this Friday. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. So Connor posed the question heading into the break. Do you think that the quarterback situation Micah Parsons walks into now is better than the one he's leaving? Is Jordan Love better than Dak Prescott? And I think it's comparable. I think
they're the same quarterback.
I don't think either of those guys are going to elevate a team to go win a Super Bowl. But I think if you put a great situation around them, they could get you there.
Yeah. The thing I think that sets on paper Dak Prescott apart from Jordan Love is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is an all-pro caliber wide receiver, and Jordan Love doesn't necessarily have that yet.
Yeah.
Like, I could see Matthew Golden maybe becoming that, but other than that, you've got
it's a bunch of number 2s and 3s.
Jaden Reed and Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs, guys like that are kind of fringe number 2 receivers, but they all work as kind of a collective, and it works for Jordan Love, so good on him.
Very much a receiver by committee type thing in Green Bay.
Yes.
Matthew from Nashville says, if Micah ends up winning the Super Bowl with Green Bay in the next 2 seasons, this will join the worst trades in NFL history club. Oh, for sure. Like it all depends on what happens with Micah and how Jerry ends up using these first round picks. Because again, if Jerry does use these to go find a true franchise quarterback to get Dallas back into the Super Bowl conversation, then I think you could make the argument that it all worked out for the Cowboys. But that's easier said than done. As I'm looking for, it was Matthew in Nashville again. He says, if the Saints get the number 1 pick, there's no way that they're going to trade with Dallas to not take Arch Manning. And that's the risk that Dallas is taking here. If they are planning on using these to go get a quarterback who they think can be a long-term upgrade over Dak Prescott, you have to hope that somebody gets the number 1 pick that doesn't need a quarterback. Like last year, if Joe Milton didn't win that game against Buffalo, the Patriots would add the number 1 pick, and they could have auctioned that off to whoever wanted to come up and get Cam Ward.
And the Titans are probably still taking a quarterback.
I don't know. I mean, I think if the Titans, I don't know if the Titans would have given up draft capital to go up and take a quarterback.
I'm saying they could probably auction their pick off and take
right. Oh, yes. I see
Dart.
what you're saying. Yeah.
No, they would take Jackson Dart at number 2.
That's what I thought you were saying. Is they would have
no.
taken Dart at 2 or 3.
No, they would probably sell off and,
right,
go to the teens maybe and then take Dart.
Yeah, I think the Titans are probably a team that Dallas wants to go and get the number 1 pick because the Cowboys aren't bad enough that they're going to be a top 10 team in the draft next year. No, I think
they'll be a middle of the pack team.
The Cowboys are now kind of where the Packers were before they made the button. Like those are very similar teams in terms of talent right now. You mentioned the quarterbacks are similar. Yeah, I think the CeeDee Lamb of it all makes it a little bit better for Dallas on the offensive side, but the Packers
and now he has George Pickens too, who
right.
I mean, to this point has not been the caliber of receiver he was projected to be coming out of Georgia, but he's still a young receiver that's developing and yes, has the greatest picture of all time when being drafted.
George Pickens, he's joining the club of if the Steelers give you away as a wide receiver, likely you probably don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Antonio Brown, traded to the Raiders. He never played a snap for the Raiders.
Chase Claypool.
Yeah, Chase Claypool traded to the Bears for a second-round pick that ended up being like 34th overall.
Yeah.
Horrible trade.
Deontay Johnson. who
Deontay
just got
Johnson
cut
has
by
been he has been moved or cut like 4 times in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Juju Smith-Schuster, when he left, he wasn't great. Like he's had his moments with the Chiefs. Obviously, he had the
Is he still there?
I think he's back. I think he went to the
Yeah,
Chiefs.
'cause he went to New England.
Right.
And then I guess
he
came back.
came back to the Chiefs, like a lot of Chiefs receivers do.
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman will probably be back there shortly, too. So if the Steelers are giving you a wide receiver, likely it is probably not a good idea to take them on, but we'll see how George Pickens works out. Justin from Greenbrier asks, is it too soon to change fandom to Green Bay without being called out for hopping on the bandwagon? I think you would be called a bandwagon. We'll have to check with Robbie Stanley.
Fun fact, that was my team in like the 4th grade.
Man, you should have stuck with it.
You know why? Because they had a receiver that I loved.
Who is it?
Jordy Nelson.
Jordy? Yeah.
my guy.
I do love I love Jordy Nelson. As I've always said, there is a great connection between a young boy and the above average wide receiver.
You
on
know
their
why I
team.
love Jordy? Because he's great on Madden. That's why.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, those Packers teams back in the early Aaron Rodgers days were fun with Greg Jennings putting the team on his back.
Oh, I'm gonna do this for Madden.
Broke my leg.
Bro, the greatest sports game clip of all time.
Putting the team on his back, though.
Let's go inside the mind of one Greg Jennings.
Jennings and Jordy Nelson and man, who was their running back? Starks was there.
Eddie Lacy.
The Eddie Lacy years.
Don't
Yeah,
forget Wildcat Randall Cobb.
yeah.
That was my other
Randall
guy.
Cobb. Yeah, that was
Also a former Cowboy.
also a former Cowboy. Former lot of teams for Randall Cobb in the
Yes.
last couple of years. Jets. Matthew in Nashville says, as a Steelers fan, I can confirm what Jake just said was correct about Pickens. Yeah, I don't have a lot of high hopes for George Pickens with the Cowboys, but maybe this one actually works out when Mike Tomlin decides to send away one of his wide receivers. Who knows?
Yeah.
615-737-1025. If you have thoughts on the Micah Parsons trade being sent to the Packers for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, let us know. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will answer the question. Adam from Portland called in the last segment and asked about why were the Titans not involved in this? And I want to have the conversation of what would it have taken for the Titans to make this trade, and would it have been worth it with the timeline that the Titans are currently on? We'll have that conversation coming up next. Later today on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, the Nashville Sounds take on Charlotte at First Horizon Park with first pitch at 6:35. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Sounds baseball on ESPN 94.9 The Fan is presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 1025, the game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you on this Friday, taking you into Labor Day weekend. Full weekend of college football. We will get into everything going on across the landscape of college football throughout the show, including a conversation with the voice of Vandy football, Andrew Allegretta, as the Commodores will take on Charleston Southern. That's coming up at 10:30. We're going to spend the whole 11 o'clock hour just going roundtable around college football.
Come on.
All the big games. We've got 3 top 10 matchups. We got Alabama, Florida State. We've got Tennessee and Syracuse. We'll talk about all of them coming up in the final hour of the show. But the big news from yesterday, Micah Parsons traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers, 2 first-round picks, and Kenny Clark heading back to Dallas. Connor, we had Adam from Portland call in earlier and ask the question of why would the Titans not do this deal?
Yeah.
And I will say that I don't know if Micah Parsons would have agreed to sign an extension with the Titans.
Yeah.
Like, that was part of this. I think I saw, was it Tom Pelissero, I believe, reported that this deal was agreed to 3 days ago between the Packers and Cowboys. Then it was working out the extension. It wouldn't have shocked me if the Cowboys went to Micah Parsons, if the Titans and Cowboys worked out a trade and said, hey, we're going to send you to Nashville. You got to work out an extension. Micah might just say, nope, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And the Titans aren't making that trade without an extension in place.
And do you think the Titans have the capital to make that extension? Like, would it make sense for them to even do that?
$190 million is a lot.
I mean, he's making $40 million a year.
Right.
Which
Almost.
is crazy.
I mean, $45 million a year for a non-quarterback is steep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's not worth it because Micah Parsons is a really good player. I saw the stat that I think Bill Barnwell put this out, that the Cowboys over the last 4 years with Micah Parsons on the field have the best expected points added per play defensively, and they have the second worst in the league without Micah Parsons on the field. So he is a great player, and I would say if I had to guess right now, I think this ends up looking bad for Dallas in the long run.
Yeah.
But it is still a lot that you have to give up. 2 first-round picks and $190 million is not a low price for any player. And I don't know if the Titans, with the state that they're in, would have wanted to make that deal. I understand it, and I said this a week and a half ago when the rumors of a possible Micah Parsons trade started popping up, that he does fit the Titans' timeline. Like, when the Titans want to be good again, Micah Parsons will still be in his prime, and it would not be a bad move for the Titans to bring Micah Parsons in, because it's the age-old thing of, man, Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons, but a first-round pick could be anything. It could even be Micah Parsons. It's like, you do trade for good players when they become available. But for the Titans, who likely are going to have a high pick again this year and have a lot more holes than just edge rusher, I don't know if you really want to make a trade like this right now.
Yeah. And I think there are people out there that are making the argument, well, the Titans would have gotten 2 first-round picks. And let's say they go off that trade. They get the 2 first-round picks and they give up Jeffrey Simmons in the process.
Yep.
Yeah, you got 2 first-round picks, but you got to acknowledge the fact that they are low first-round picks, probably. You're probably drafting in like 24, 25. And granted, you can use those and probably flip them over to a contender and get a piece or 2 from that. But again, that's a win now thing. That doesn't fit the Titans timeline right now. And I don't think you should go with the mentality of, we have first-round picks just to have first-round picks. I think it's got to fit your timeline in some capacity. As far as having, pick number 25 in 2026, I don't think that makes sense for the Titans timeline.
The Titans hoarding picks is like, I'm never going to be somebody who says, make sure you keep the picks. Don't trade for great players, because usually the team that trades for the great player, it ends up working out. We all know how the A.J. Brown trade worked out.
Yep.
It's like you traded A.J. Brown thinking you could turn Treylon Burks into a younger, cheaper A.J. Brown, and he caught 1 touchdown in his entire career. Scored 2, caught 1. I understand that going and getting a great player is usually the right move. But for the Titans, when Micah Parsons isn't going to turn this team into a Super Bowl contender right now. And again, I will preface it with how we started the conversation. Micah Parsons wouldn't have signed an extension here. So don't worry about it. It wasn't ever going to happen. I don't think Micah Parsons would have agreed to come here. But
yeah, it's a last place team. He wants to go to a contender, clearly.
I think the best way for the Titans to get good fast is trade back and get more picks instead of trading picks for one player, because you need a top level edge rusher.
Oh, I just completely
Desperately.
confused myself. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I understood what you were getting at. The Titans need a top level edge rusher. They're going to need a top level wide receiver because Calvin Ridley won't be here forever. You're going to need a top cornerback. You're probably going to need an inside linebacker. You're going to need a safety at some point. You're probably going to need a tight end unless Gunnar Helm turns out to be a real dude at that position.
Yeah.
So it's like you have so many holes on this team right now. Yeah, Micah Parsons would be great, and he probably does accelerate the progress that you make this year. But does it get you to a Super Bowl level roster faster? I don't know if it does.
Okay, let me redeem myself here because I completely confused myself with the whole picks thing. So the Titans would be sending 2 first-round picks and Jeffrey Simmons to the Cowboys,
Which would be a steeper price than what the Packers
Yes.
played.
The reason for that being is the Titans are not good right now. Those first-round picks would probably be high first-round picks, not low first-round picks like the Packers, high first-round picks. Again, to me, that doesn't make sense for the Titans timeline because you need those picks, and the best way to develop a young player, especially with the holes you need, like you said, you need a receiver, you need an inside linebacker, you need an outside linebacker, you need a corner, you need all these pieces. The best way to find the elite prospects like that is in the upper echelon of the draft. Do you really want to give away your part in that process to the Cowboys for a win now move that doesn't really make sense for your time? Like Micah Parsons, the player, makes sense for the Titans timeline because he's young enough, he's in his prime, and he's a damn good football player. But as far as the picks are concerned, I think that makes more sense for the Titans timeline because those are going to be high picks. You're going to be drafting for Cam's running mate in the long run if he is in fact the guy, which I think the Titans are concerned he is, or convinced that he is. You're going to be drafting that edge rusher, which maybe you do find a Micah Parsons in the draft or something. Unlikely, but possible. You need those pieces for your future, and I don't think sending those off to the Dallas Cowboys would really make sense.
Right. Micah Parsons.
Did I redeem myself there?
Yeah, there you go. You got it. Micah Parsons on a banner on the new stadium in 2027 would look fantastic, and I think it would sell tickets. And I do think Micah Parsons this year is probably worth an extra win, at least.
Yeah.
Bringing in a player like that probably does win you an extra game this year.
I think he makes any team a win or two better.
Right. But does going 7-10 this year and then not having a first-round pick to continue to build this team, does that make you more than an 8-win team in 2026? I don't know if it does.
You'd be stuck in mediocre land for the next few years.
Right. And I think Micah Parsons in 2027, sure, you might have a roster that's good enough that maybe he is a key piece to a team that's a playoff contender. But if you want Cam Ward to have the best situation around him by the time that new stadium opens, the most picks you can have in the top 100 is probably what you should be looking for. Like the Titans' best case scenario this year is still ending up with a decently high pick and being able to trade back and pick up an extra second, an extra third, and filling in these holes that this team has right now, because 2 years down the road, Calvin Ridley is not going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And L'Jarius Sneed clearly isn't going to be here. So you don't have a wide receiver and cornerback are both top 5 premium positions in football.
And people will try to say, well, they have Iomanner and DK. Maybe they will, but right now, and I think you can agree with me on this, Jake, I would not expect neither to become a
wide receiver
one. Like,
No.
I think the ceiling for Iomanner, who I think is the better of the two, is probably a solid wide receiver too.
Right. Alec Iomanner, I think there's hope, and I think the Titans really like what they've seen from him so far. But when you take a guy in the 4th round, you're hoping for a contributor, not a star.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is an exception,
He's
not
an
the
outlier.
rule.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there is a chance Alec Iomanner ends up turning into a superstar receiver. I'd say it's probably like a 2 or 3% chance. But I'd say the large percentage of the outcomes for Alec Imaner is that he's your wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 for the next 5 years.
Mm.
And you still need a wide receiver 1.
And good on you.
But right, that's what you're looking for in the 4th round. You're not like stars are great on day 3, but you're looking for guys who can be contributors for you on their rookie deals.
I mean, you're looking if the Titans send those pick to the Cowboys, you're looking at foregoing possibly your Jeremiah Smith or your Ryan Williams or a young receiver in college football right now that is setting the nation on fire, that is going to be a stud in the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't want to put that up with your young quarterback that you think is the future of your franchise?
Yeah. Now it's a very good point. Like, let's say Cam Ward has a great rookie season, and I'm going to go very like full on hypothetical here. Let's say Cam Ward has a great rookie season. Let's say he wins Rookie of the Year, and you feel great, but then he gets hurt in year 2, and you kind of scrap 2026 and end up with a top 5 pick to go get a Jeremiah Smith.
You wouldn't have that first round pick. You go get Parsons.
This is exactly what happened with the Bengals. It was his rookie season that he got hurt, but Joe Burrow got hurt. They kind of mailed in the rest of the year. They got Jamar Chase. So, and it's like, if you make this trade, yeah, Micah Parsons helps you right now and for the next few years, but you may miss out on a great player who can help you for 10 years instead of Micah Parsons, who, yeah, I think he matches up with the timeline you want of trying to get back into contention, but the long-term goals of this team is not just be good in 2026, 2027. They want to be good 2027 to 2030.
Yeah. So you and I are on the same page. If the Titans should not have made this trade.
I think,
and I don't think it was ever in the conversation for them, to be honest with you. I think Brinker and Borgonzi were probably monitoring the situation, and yeah, if we can get him for a low enough price, then maybe, but
if there was,
we're not going to sacrifice our next few rounds of or few years of first round picks for a guy that doesn't help us that much now.
I agree with Adam when he said, I'd love to know if Mike Borgonzi made a call, because I think it's worth making a call, right? And saying,
kick the tires.
What's the price? But that price, 2 first round picks for a team that likely will have a high first round pick this year, probably not worth it. Jeremy in Clarksville says, we keep making the assumption that the Titans have a franchise quarterback. I'm not convinced the Titans do yet. The Titans picked him first overall, so the Titans are making the assumption they have a franchise
They are
quarterback.
Convinced that they have a franchise
as fans, we can judge, but when you take a guy number 1 overall, the Titans have to be convinced that they have a franchise quarterback and operate that way.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be in love with him if you take number 1. Like, why would I take a quarterback that I don't really like at number 1 overall just for the sake of doing it?
Right. It's like fans and us, we can be skeptical, and
that's our job.
I like Cam Ward. Am I 100% convinced he's a franchise quarterback? No,
but because I haven't seen him on an NFL field yet.
Right. But the Titans, the Titans made the pick at number 1. They turned down a king's ransom of a trade from the Giants to take him. They have to operate under the assumption that he is their franchise quarterback until proven otherwise.
Yep.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This isn't just a concert, it's a cause. Trinetics Rock the Cradle helps give fragile newborns a stronger start and keeps moms close when it matters most. With Tim McGraw live on stage and your support behind every beat, Ascension St. Thomas is turning music into healing. Tickets are on sale now at rockthecradlenashville.org. There were other stories and games that happened yesterday. I have a smorgasbord of topics that I want to get to wrap up hour number 1. We'll do that next. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. This season, catch MTSU football on Totally Hits 93.3. Tomorrow, the Blue Raiders will host Austin Peay. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. Coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com. Friday edition of Next Man Up here on 102.5 The Game. Again, Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt football, going to join us at 10:30, previewing the Commodores matchup with Charleston Southern tomorrow to open up the year. And we will go rapid fire around college football for the final hour, go through all of the big games going on Labor Day weekend. But the Micah Parsons trade kind of threw me off yesterday. I had a whole hour planned of.
Oh, I know. I got your text.
We got tons of great topics from yesterday, but the Micah Parsons trade threw a wrench in all of it. So we're going to get through all of them right now.
Thanks, Jerry.
The first one I want to talk about, Boise State looked horrible last night.
I mean, I put a tweet out last night. Boise State, granted it's one game and they were on the road. Boise State may be this year's Florida State.
Yeah,
because they looked awful.
Maddox Matson, their quarterback, looks like he's a good runner, but he missed a couple of easy throws. Like there was a 4th and 2 where his receiver's standing at the sticks wide open in the flats, and he just airmailed it into the sideline. Turnover on downs, and I think USF scored a couple of plays later. Now, USF's quarterback, Byron Brown,
he looked good.
He looked great.
They have good receivers, too, like Chaz Nimrod, former Vol.
Right. He made
had
some plays.
Some plays last night. The fake punt was beautiful.
I mean, so at first I thought that was the punter who
Yeah.
threw it, and I was like, oh, my God, their punter's got a cannon. He threw that 40 yards.
I think it was a backup.
It was their backup quarterback who they snuck onto the field and had him fake being the punter. It's a great call.
Alex Golish is a fun coach.
Alex Golish, I mean, he got
future
aggressive.
Wildcat head coaching candidate.
They blew them out 34-7. I mean, I would venture to say that probably ends Boise State's playoff hopes.
Yeah, they're done.
I mean, if they won out from here, maybe.
I don't think they're the best team in their conference.
Yeah.
Like, I think UNLV may have them this year.
UNLV didn't look great last week.
They didn't either,
though.
But
they got to figure out their quarterback situation first. So
right. They got former
mean,
UVA Anthony Calandria.
That's your guy. That's your guy, Jake.
I hate that guy.
Crazy what happens when, your Heisman contending running back goes to the NFL and you don't have him anymore.
It was funny. They were talking about how Boise State led the country last year with 10 games of 200 yards rushing or more.
Boise State didn't. Ashton Genty did.
Yes. The Heisman runner-up was actually a big part of that. Who knew? Also,
shocking, right?
Rick Barnes gets a lifetime contract. Parker Kelly, our resident Vol. How are you feeling?
Don't get excited.
No, it was well deserved.
Nope. Lifetime contracts are bad. You're speaking to the king of lifetime contracts.
Yeah,
I'm not upset about it whatsoever.
Well, I think with Rick Barnes, you kind of know that.
Yeah, I mean, he's only got a few years.
I don't want this to seem dark. Like lifetime probably doesn't mean very long for Rick Barnes because he's going to retire. That was like
I can say like 3-4 years, maybe 3-4 years, 5 max.
As soon as that popped into my head, I was like, man, this is going to sound like I think Rick Barnes is going to die. No, I'm saying that I think his lifespan as a coach probably isn't going to last, like Parker said, 3 or 4 more years. So
no, I'm just messing with you.
I like it. You reward Rick Barnes.
Lifetime is bad when you reward a lifetime contract to a coach who is, 5 years into his tenure.
The good thing is he has a little bit more juice now because I thought when Zakai Ziegler left or declared for the draft that, Rick Barnes might go with him, but he seems rejuvenated because he's hit the portal hard. So.
Yeah.
And got a top 3 recruit in the class of 2025.
Yep.
Amen.
So Rick Barnes gets a lifetime contract. Good reward for a guy who's had a great career, and we'll see if he can get over the hump in his last couple of years of his career. Also, the rivalry uniforms came out for the NFL. What did you guys think? I thought some of them were good. Some of them weren't great.
I thought Arizona's looks like a tortilla.
Yeah, I liked San Francisco's.
San Fran's is cool. I like the Bills.
The Patriots ones are getting a lot of hate. I actually don't hate the Patriots ones.
They're okay.
They're fine.
They look like the MLB All-Star uniforms when they were in Seattle a couple years ago. That's what those look like to me.
I like the NE logo. Like it's unique for the Patriots.
I don't understand the Jets because they're supposed to be like Gotham City Football Club.
Right.
But Chicago is Gotham City Football Club. So I don't really understand.
When you think of Gotham, what city do you think of? You think of Chicago?
No, I think of Gotham City.
Gotham is supposed to be New York.
That's what
But-
because when I think of Gotham, I think, oh, New York City probably
Right.
encapsulates that.
But then it was
that's-
funny, like in The Dark Knight, it was Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like they showed Hines Ward returning the kick as the stadium as Bane blew up the stadium behind him. So
and they actually filmed a scene of that in Chicago.
Yeah.
So they were in both cities.
but like in the new Batman, the Robert Pattinson one, the ending scene is at Gotham Square Garden or whatever it is.
Yeah,
And
which is New
it's
York.
literally Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden. So
Man.
I guess that's the beauty of Gotham is you really don't know.
Yeah. So I hope the Bears come out with Gotham City Football Club because they're next year too.
So the Titans are next year. That's what
Yep.
came out yesterday. The AFC South and the NFC North are getting the rivalry uniforms next year. What do we want for the Titans? My vote, black uniforms.
Yep. Black with light blue accents.
I think it's going to be red though. I think that is.
I'm fine with that too.
I would be fine with red because there's been a lot of fans who have been asking for red jerseys for the longest time. I think they're going to give in and give the red jerseys next year.
You know what I think Houston's gonna do?
Oh,
Blue.
no, but they'll get sued.
Mm.
You saw Amy did not play any games with the University of Houston when they put out their Oilers themed uniforms,
Which they have back now.
which they did bring back, but I think they had to like change the color a little bit. So we'll see. Maybe Houston does try it and makes an Oilers type uniform. But I think Titans, they're getting them next year. They're going to be black or red. I would lean red.
What if the Jags do mustard again? That'd be great.
How about this? Instead of the Titans and Jags getting new uniforms, just bring back the color rush for one Thursday night
I liked
game.
the Titans color rush.
Those were electric games. Watching Jags Titans on Thursday night, Blake Bortles
Every
versus
Thursday
Marcus Mariota.
Marcus got a new number yesterday, by the way.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm.
What is he now?
Number 8.
Oh, he's back to 8.
Mhm.
Okay, I like it.
He should be.
Joey from Bellevue says, "When I think of Gotham City, I think of Batman."
Exactly.
Thank you.
I just I watched the new Batman the other day.
It's
again.
good. It's long.
It was one of those, I saw it in the theater and I was like, I don't really like this, but it's one that you learn to love over time.
I like it.
So I watched it again and I was like, yeah, this is it's not the Dark Knight. And I think that's
No.
my problem is I compared it to the Dark Knight when I saw it. The Dark Knight's the best Batman
I don't know
movie
if
ever,
anybody
but
will beat the Christian Bale trilogy,
no.
but the Batman was a good movie. I'm excited for the second one. Have
Yeah.
you watched The Penguin?
No, I haven't.
You got to. It's on HBO Max. It's like an 8-10 episode season.
Mm.
Heard
Really
nothing
good.
but good things.
Really, really
I do
good.
I am watching Peacemaker right now.
See, I tried to
Which
start
is
that, and then I
hilarious.
realized that like I haven't seen the Suicide Squad, and
It's good.
apparently you have to watch that.
That's really good.
So I guess maybe I need to delve back into
plus,
that.
I mean, this is John Cena.
It's John Cena, right?
Of course.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you want to text or call, our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Our number 1 in the books on this Friday. When we come back, we will talk some Titans today. The Titans practiced yesterday, a couple of injury updates from Brian Callahan. And also, I know Connor has some strong thoughts on the captain's decisions. We will get to that ahead of Andrew Allegretta joining us at 10:30. Tune in for the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Pre-Race on 102.5 The Game this Sunday. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. and is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Happy Friday. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you. Lots to talk about Micah Parsons in the first hour. We're going to talk some Titans here to start off hour number 2. Andrew Allegretto will join us at the bottom of the hour to preview Vanderbilt's game against Charleston Southern tomorrow. And then again, we're spending the whole last hour just going through the games this weekend because there are a lot of them. We've got a couple of big ones tonight. We've got 3 big ones tomorrow. You could even say 4 if you want to include Tennessee and Syracuse in there.
Yeah, it's one of those Kentucky-Toledo.
Yeah, well, that was obviously at the top of the list.
That's the headliner. What are we talking about?
Kentucky is only 7.5-point favorites.
That's crazy.
At home
with their
Toledo.
With their
they made the wrong quarterback
34-year-old quarterback.
Yeah, they did. They did.
And then we got 2 games on Sunday and 1 on Monday. So we'll get through all of them coming up in the final hour of the show. But did want to spend some time on the Titans here. Brian Callahan yesterday updated the Titans injury list, and J.C. Latham was still out of practice. He did say that he's hoping JC will be ready for week 1. I thought it was great news that T'Vondre Sweat is back at practice.
Mm-hmm.
I am concerned about how much he's going to be able to play in the thin air week 1 against Denver after missing so much time. But if he hadn't been back out there at practice yesterday, I think he would have been in danger of just missing the game altogether.
Yeah.
I think you can pretty much say he'll be active, he'll be ready, but you may not see him play 60% of the snaps. I think it may be closer to 40.
Yeah, but I think you need him out there in some capacity.
Right.
Just because you look at the Titans defense and you look at the positional depth, not that they have depth on the tight end, defensive tackle position, but Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat. I mean, those are 2 solid defensive tackles.
That's what they've built
line.
their defense around. Right. Like they talk about how the edge group is fine. Like yesterday, I was shocked to hear Mike Borgonzi say that he feels good about the edge group because I don't feel good about the edge group.
No.
Especially when they didn't use a waiver claim on one. Like Jalen Harrell is your 5th edge rusher and Jihad Ward is your 4th. Like
you are putting a lot of trust into Femi Oladejo.
Right. If Femi Oladejo is just a project guy and he doesn't do a lot this year, you're not going to get to the quarterback very often. So you need Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat out there. And I think it is good news to hear that Sweat and I believe Ridley were both back at practice yesterday.
Yeah, it is. And Winston was out there too. Not that he matters as much as those 2,
right?
Because I think he's just kind of a rotational safety right now, at least. He hopefully will develop into something more.
I think by the end of the year, you'll be seeing Winston out there a lot more. But yes, to start the year, I don't think you were as concerned about Kevin Winston. He doesn't need to be on the field.
Yeah.
But T'Vondre Sweat does, especially with how thin you are at defensive line. I think the depth has gotten better. You bring in Shai Tuttle and Ravenell was one of the waiver claims.
Can we change his name, by the way?
Titanell? It'd be good. But you need T'Vondre Sweat out there. That is, you spent an early 2nd-round pick on that guy. He showed promise last year, but this was supposed to be a big year of growth for him. Missing most of training camp is concerning, but it's good to see that he's back out there at practice, getting ready for week 1.
Yeah, I mean, he had tonsillitis. So what I suggest for the Titans is to go to your local Denver Kroger, get a tub of Breyer's ice cream, keep it in a cooler, and if he starts burning in the throat, just give him some of that.
There you go.
Send him right back out there.
Yeah. I mean, let the nutritionist take the day off with T'Vondre Sweat. Just load him up with the ice cream.
Send me out there. I'll be like in quarterback. You remember when Marcus Mariota had like his own personal chef that just followed him around?
You're just going to have a tub of ice cream behind T'Vondre Sweat.
For T'Vondre, I'll feed him ice cream and I'll grill for him and grill him some hot dogs or something.
There you go.
Corn on the cob. Here you go, T'Vondre.
Big Sweat. I mean, I would think that a lot of it was just precautionary.
Yeah.
Keeping him out. And he had the abdominal injury earlier on, but he hadn't practiced in 3 weeks. So it's great that he's back out there. Again, the Titans, they've talked all offseason about, we don't need great edge rushers because we can collapse the pocket from the interior. Well, in order to do that, you got to have T'Vondre Sweat out there.
Yeah.
So good news for the Titans. If you're going to have any chance to stay in that game with Denver, which I'm a little skeptical on,
Yeah,
You got to
I'm
have
with
your
you.
best players out there. And Tavondre Sweat at least will be. L'Jarius Sneed after the waiver claims. I said this yesterday. I'm not confident he's going to be ready for week 1.
No. They keep pushing out, Jarius especially, keeps pushing out that he fully plans on playing.
And maybe he'll be
And
dressed
maybe
out.
he will.
But I don't think you're going to see him on the field as your number 1 cornerback for week 1.
No, it's going to be the Jarvis Brownlee show, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe some of your waiver claims get up there. Like, I liked the guy that they got from Indianapolis.
Yeah, Womack.
I thought he's the Ravens guy is the one I really like.
Yeah. Jalen Armour-Davis, I feel like you got 2 guys who accomplish different goals for you.
Yeah.
Like Womack is your more consistent guy. He played all 17 games last year. He's shown that he can produce in the NFL. Jalen Armour-Davis is all about the potential. It's like, yeah, this guy hasn't been unlocked yet because he's been hurt. Maybe we can get him healthy and get him to his full potential. So
Which, you got the number 1 waiver claim. Why not?
right. And the fact that 3 other teams claim Jalen Armour-Davis makes you feel good that that is a guy who was coveted around the league. Again, I'm not acting like he's going to step in and immediately be your number 1 cornerback.
No, I don't
but
think you can expect that.
Maybe
from
by
a
the
waiver
end of the year, he surpasses Darrell Baker as your top reserve at that position. And maybe he ends up starting if L'Jarius Sneed can't get through the full year.
I mean, look, this isn't fantasy football. You're not going in and, filing a waiver claim for some guy, some, all-pro player that some idiot just dropped.
Right.
These are guys that weren't good enough to make a roster. So I'm not saying that these corners aren't going to be solid pieces for the Titans. Maybe they are. But you also can't go in expecting them to be all-pro caliber players and just elevate your defense to another level, because that's not realistic.
Right. These guys were not good enough to make a 53-man roster.
And one of them was cut from a contending team, a Super Bowl contending team in the Ravens. The Colts, they're the Colts. They're not very good. But Armour-Davis was cut from a contending team, and you can look at that and say, well, the Ravens have a lot of depth, especially on defense. They got Kyle Hamilton in their secondary and all these guys, and he just was the odd man out. Or you can look at it and say, he was a young prospect that they drafted, and he just didn't pan out for them. So, like it or not, he's on the team. I expect him to see some field time in week 1, especially once he gets coverages down, which I think would be relatively easy for an NFL corner.
Yeah, corner is one of those positions where it's like, yeah, I'm sure the terminology is a little bit different, but
formations and stuff.
Right. I don't think it's going to corner. You talk about guys being on an island. Obviously, you're not putting Jalen Armour-Davis out there on an island with a receiver, but there's much less collaboration for a cornerback than there is for a linebacker or anybody on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Go cover that guy.
Yeah. Are you telling me to beat right him or no? You stand there, and if he catches the ball, then we're taking your ass out.
Yep.
That's how it is.
And I think it is telling about the Titans roster depth. Have you seen any Titans players that got cut get picked up anywhere else? I think I saw Josh Wiley is on the Packers practice squad.
That's the only one I saw.
No, one of them got picked up. Not James Prochet. He's on the practice squad.
The Titans brought a lot of the guys they cut back on the practice squad.
Who got claimed by the Bills? Someone did.
I think the only one I've seen is Wiley. Maybe Jalen Kimber. I think yes.
Jalen Kimber.
Yes. So 2 guys have been signed to other teams' practice squads. I think that tells you what the league thought about the Titans' depth on their roster.
Yeah,
and
it's
not
all right.
It's not a surprise. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you want to text or call, our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Tune in to ESPN 94.9 The Fan this Sunday at 2 p.m. for our college football game of the week, Virginia Tech versus South Carolina, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurant, Circus Sportsbook, Kentucky, and Macero in 12 South. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks, home of 29-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports. When we come back, we will wrap up our Titans conversation for the day with a conversation about the captains. I know Connor put out a tweet about Cam Ward being a captain. We'll let him speak his mind coming up next. Then Andrew Allegretta joins us at 10:30. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game.
What's it say that Cam, obviously a rookie, gets elected or voted in as one of the captains, and I wonder if you could draw any comparisons with Joe doing the same back in his rookie year?
Yeah, you earned that right. Cam's definitely earned it. The leadership he's shown over the course of his time here from the offseason through training camp. Those guys have a lot of respect for him. And, traditionally, your quarterback tends to be a captain. That's just sort of how it works. But I do think all the qualities that he has shown as a leader are very much deserving of the captaincy. So, not surprised by any stretch. I think it was pretty close to unanimous for him. So that was good to see.
That was head coach Brian Callahan talking about the decision to name Cam Ward a captain as a rookie, one of 7 captains for the Titans who were announced on Wednesday night. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. I mentioned yesterday, I have no problem with Cam Ward being a captain. Honestly, I think I would have been concerned if he wasn't a captain based on what we've heard about his leadership qualities and how he's viewed in the locker room. Connor, I know you have a different take on this.
Yeah, I don't like it. And I'll tell you why. Look, I get it. He was voted on by his team, and that speaks a lot to the kind of leader that Cam Ward is, and you want a leader to be your captain. That said, he is a rookie quarterback who has never taken a real NFL snap and has not seen the field. And I think maybe I'm suffering a little bit from PTSD last year when you had your first-year starter in Will Levis as your captain. And how did that go? Now, I think Cam Ward and Will Levis are completely different kinds of leaders. Cam Ward, I think, is more hands-on. He's the first guy in the building. He's the last one to leave, and good on him. Will Levis was kind of the opposite. It was all about him and how much marketing he could get from being an NFL quarterback and being the captain of the Tennessee Titans. I just think that a rookie quarterback that has never seen a real NFL game, throw the preseason away. That's not real NFL football. A rookie quarterback that has never played a real NFL game has to earn that captain patch. And they're going to make the argument, and I'm sure a lot of people on the text line and Titans Twitter are going to argue with me that he's earned it in practice and the team has he's earned the team's respect, and good on him. You can be a leader without that patch. I just think from a traditional standpoint that I understand it's the most important position in sports. The quarterback is traditionally the leader of the team, but he's a rookie. He's never played a real game. We don't know what kind of a player he is. I just don't agree with it. Now, the other captains, sure. Jeffrey Simmons, fine. Calvin Ridley, good.
Cody Barton, I think, was an easy one.
I think that's an easy one.
Morgan Cox is probably the easiest one they were able to pick.
And you could look at the argument, well, Cody Barton, this is his first year in the Titans defense. Cody Barton's an NFL veteran.
Yeah.
Cody Barton.
Hey, Connor, I have a question.
Can I finish my point?
Sure, go ahead.
Cody Barton, and I lost my train of thought because you just cut me off. Cody Barton has had success in the NFL as a defensive player. I just don't think that a rookie quarterback who has never played a real NFL snap should be given that privilege just yet. And that's not a knock on Cam Ward. That's not a knock on the kind of player I think he can be or the kind of person I think he is right now. I just am going from more of a traditional standpoint from the NFL football fan I am. I would like to see a year of Cam Ward without that patch, a year where he earns it. And look, I know the Titans aren't the only one in the NFL that has ever done this. I mean, Caleb Williams was the captain for the Bears last year. And I think it's kind of an unwritten rule that you make the quarterback your captain. I just kind of disagree with that. That's just kind of my point.
So
go ahead.
Do you agree that if there's a player who doesn't contribute significant playing time, do you think that they could still be a captain? Let's say there's a player who exemplifies really great leadership, but is not a significant contributor to your team. Do you think that they could still be a captain?
No, because I think it needs to be a player that is a key contributor to your team. And you could make the argument Morgan Cox isn't a key contributor to the Titans. He's a special teams captain. He is probably their best player on special teams from the long snapper position. But I don't know. You look at all the other captains they have. Jeffrey Simmons is probably the best player on your roster. Calvin Ridley, Amani Hooker, Cody Barton, Tony Pollard. All of those guys, granted, their talent level varies, but they are all key contributors in the Titans roster. Cam Ward is going to be a key contributor in the Titans roster. And look, I just disagree with it this year. Next year, by all means, be the captain, especially if you have a great year and you're the franchise guy that you think they are. I just don't agree with it this year. And look, I have no say in whether Cam Ward is the captain or not. Clearly, he's the captain. The players like him. The team likes him. The coaching staff likes him. The front office likes him. They all voted on this. But I'm just saying, right now, on this day, August 29th, 2025, Friday, Cam Ward has never played an NFL snap. He has never seen a real NFL snap. And people will say, well, he played in the preseason. Do you count the preseason as a real NFL football game? Because I don't.
Count the stats.
The stats don't count. Records don't count. He played, 5 possessions?
Seven.
Yeah, 7. Thank you. But I would like to see what Cam Ward is capable of before we king him and give him this crown and that patch on the shoulder. And again, it's a patch. It doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things other than he goes out at the pre-game captain's meeting and he decides heads or tails. That's pretty much it. But maybe I'm reading way too much into this. I'm just saying, I don't agree with the fact that you're putting a rookie quarterback who's never played a real snap. I'm going to keep hammering that out. Never played a real snap in the NFL. We're giving him that privilege right now.
But if he was voted on by his teammates, who's to say that he shouldn't be a captain? This team's in desperate.
Not me.
This team's in desperate need of leadership. So if it's your rookie, if it's your 5th-year veteran defensive tackle, who cares? This team just needs leadership. So if it's your rookie, why is it such a big deal?
Fair point. But I think you have leadership in the other captains. I think Tony Pollard's a great leader in that backfield. I think Calvin Ridley has been here long enough and can elevate Cam to be that leader. I think Jeffrey Simmons, maybe he's not the best leader, but he's your best player. And that sends a sign to the locker room that your best player is your leader and your captain. Morgan Cox is Morgan Cox. He's a special teams captain. We can throw him away.
I've been on teams, though, your best players are not always your best leaders.
That's fair.
It's true.
And I think that's the case here.
Certainly. I
Jeffrey
agree.
Simmons is the best player, but I don't think he's the best leader. That said, what does it say to your locker room if we don't trust your best player to be your captain?
It's 5 years in a row for Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, and it's 5 years in a row. I mean, look at, he's got the gold patch now. He's got 5 stars. That's just how I feel.
I will make the point that Brian Callahan did say it was almost unanimous voting Cam Ward a captain. And we're not in that locker room. We don't see what Cam Ward does on a day-to-day basis. But from everything we've heard, it feels like he is a true, genuine leader. And I think last year, Will Levis was not a genuine leader. I think he tried to prop himself up to be a leader. But
he rewired his brain for that.
It wasn't natural for him. I think Cam Ward naturally comes off as a leader in that locker room. And when you hear about practice and when the offense is getting fired up and there's some juice and some energy, where's it coming from? It's coming from Cam Ward. And first of all, I will make the point, I don't think there should be 7 captains. I feel like that's
I think you should have 2 on offense, 2 on defense, and 1 on special teams.
I agree. 5, I think, is the right number.
Yep.
I'm forgetting which team. One team put out, they only had 3. 1 offense, 1 defense, 1 special teams. And I think that's a little low. I think it should be 2 on each side of the ball and special teams. But you look on that offense, yes, Calvin Ridley's a good player. Would you classify him as like your stock central casting leader, though?
No.
Not really, based on what we've heard and seen from him. Same with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard seems like a pretty quiet guy. You can lead by example, and I'm sure Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley both do, but they aren't your rah-rah, get the team hyped up kind of guy. Seems like Cam Ward kind of is that guy.
Yeah, and
he's gonna get his team going. And the offensive line, they need somebody to develop as a leader there. I'm a little surprised Zeitler maybe wasn't a captain.
Yeah.
And we haven't heard a ton from Kevin Zeitler, but he's your veteran guy on that offensive line. Typically, there is an offensive line captain. I think eventually it will be one of the young guys, Skoronski or Latham.
I was thinking Skoronski.
Who steps up and takes that role for the long haul. But I am a little surprised that Cushenberry or Zeitler wasn't named a captain.
And look, we're getting texts that are saying there's NFL veterans some across the street that are in full support of the move. Good on them. I mean, they're NFL veterans. I have no NFL experience whatsoever. I'm just giving you my opinion, and my opinion is that right now, on this day, Cam Ward has not played a real NFL snap. I don't think he has earned the captain's patch from an on the field standpoint. Now, off the field, sure. Like Parker said, like Brian Callahan said, it was pretty much unanimous that he is a leader. But I think he can be a leader without wearing that patch. Lead by example, kind of what you said. And I don't think, I don't want to add more stress to him. I don't want him to have the stresses of being a captain. And that's probably something that he wants. And he wants to be a leader, and he wants to lead by example and make this team have this winner take all mentality. And good on him. But I just don't. He's a rookie quarterback. He's got a lot on his plate. He's under a microscope. He's the number 1 overall pick. Add captain to the list. That puts him under even more of a microscope.
If he's a natural leader, then it shouldn't be an extra stress. Now, for Will Levis, certainly, because he wasn't a natural leader. But if Cam Ward is this natural leader, which everyone says that he is, then it shouldn't be an extra stress on him.
It shouldn't, but it could be.
First rookie to be named a captain for the Titans since Marcus Mariota back in 2015. 2015, excuse me. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you want to text or call, our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Vanderbilt football begins the season this Saturday at home against Charleston Southern. Catch all the action on 1025 The Game, with the pregame show starting at 4:30 and kickoff at 6 p.m. Coverage is also available on the Game Nashville app and at theGameNashville.com. Vanderbilt football is presented by Gary Force Acura and Smoky Mountain Tops. We will chat with the man who will be on the call for that game, Andrew Allegretta, the voice of Vanderbilt football, right after this. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025, the game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you on this Friday, getting set for a full weekend of college football, including Vanderbilt's opener tomorrow night against Charleston Southern, 6 o'clock kick, 4:30 pregame show right here on 1025 The Game. And we are now joined by the voice of Vanderbilt football, Andrew Allegretta, on our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Andrew, getting excited for game one. Thanks for coming on.
Of course, Jacob Lyman. Good to talk to you.
Yes, great to talk to you. You've been around this team all throughout fall camp, couple scrimmages, getting ready for week one. What's the feeling around this Vanderbilt football program after such a year of growth last year as they look to build on it?
Well, certainly excitement and certainly optimism and anticipation. It's certainly one of the more anticipated Vanderbilt football seasons, likely in the program's history. I say that cautiously, but it feels accurate. I mean, you could go back to perhaps a decade or so ago when one of those James Franklin teams was coming off a good season leading into the next season, perhaps what the program did back in the 1980s with our good friend Norm Jordan and Whit Taylor. But, you know, all things considered, to have the stadium opening tomorrow, to have a sellout, which we announced, to have Diego Pavia back, to have the SEC Coach of the Year and Clark Lee on the sideline, and have just so many critical pieces back for Vanderbilt from a season ago, it's hard to not think that this is truly an exciting moment, anticipated moment. Now they just have to do it on the field.
Yeah, you mentioned the sellout that just got announced for tomorrow. Do you feel the Vanderbilt community, the Nashville community, really rallying around this team? I mean, sometimes, the old adage is if you win, they will come. It kind of feels like that's what's happening over on West End.
I think so. And if you build it, they will come. So we literally built the stadium and built the team.
Right.
It's the right moment for both of those things to have a sellout. I mean, I'm so happy for all of the people that kind of poured into this. It's not something that happened overnight. All of these plans for the stadium, the hiring of Clark Lee, it goes back 5 years, back to 2020. So you have the Alabama game last year. You have your moment. You get to lead into this season. I think probably a lot of those people, Clark, especially Diego, especially, are ready to just, play some football and try to, continue to build and get into the flow of the season. It's so hard to say, right, Jake? Like this city is so wonderfully big and so wonderfully complex with all of the options. Like, it never feels like any one thing owns the city. That would be ridiculous. But in terms of galvanizing the sports community in Nashville, it definitely has gathered some momentum. And to have such a gravitating figure like Diego Pavia, to have a brand new stadium and coming off a wonderful year, it clearly has motivated people that care about sports, and clearly has motivated people that care about Vanderbilt football.
So, Andrew, let me ask you about Diego Pavia then. Coming off of the season he had last year and everything that circulated around this offseason, the wonderful things that happened for Vanderbilt football in the offseason and last season, what do you think you need to see from Diego Pavia tomorrow against Charleston Southern? Sorry, I'm so excited for college football. I forget my days.
Let's go.
Yes. Granted, I know it's Charleston Southern, no disrespect to them, but this is a non-conference game that Vanderbilt should win. What do you need to see from Diego Pavia tomorrow to convince you that he's still on the same level that he was on last year?
Oh, that's probably tricky to say exactly tomorrow, and so much will be learned tomorrow. Virginia Tech, South Carolina. I think I said this on the Commodore Hour, guys, back on Monday. I want to leave the stadium tomorrow night with no red flags. You know what I'm saying? What I remember, and I told this to Kevin, what I remember from a couple of years ago is that Hawaii game. And we left the stadium with a victory, but it was like, that was a little closer than we would like it to be. And it sort of became a red flag for what would happen in the following weeks and months. I want to walk out of Charleston Southern without red flags. That could be the performance of the players. That could be the health of the players. It certainly includes a victory for Vanderbilt if this season is going to move in the direction that it needs to move. I don't know that Diego Pavia needs to do any more than he's ever done. In fact, there probably is part of the way that this offense is going to go this season where Diego almost needs to do, I don't want to say less, but like if we want to have a complete offense that fixes some of the things that we felt were an issue toward the back end of last season. Some of that was Diego's health. Some of that was kind of the running game getting bogged down late in the season. Diego almost needs to do less. It needs to be the functionality of the offensive line, the way the running backs perform, the way this new crew of wide receivers step up, block on the perimeter, execute the smallest details of the offense. If Diego has the same season as he did a season ago, like that, I mean, it was truly one of the greatest seasons in Vanderbilt quarterback history. Like, he had 3,094 total yards of offense. That's second most by any quarterback in Vanderbilt history, behind only Jay Cutler. So if he's coming back to where he was from season ago, and everybody else can elevate around him, then we're probably in good shape.
Talking to Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Vanderbilt Commodores. So, Andrew, let me ask you about Eli Stowers. Obviously, we think he's one of the best tight ends in the SEC. You could make the argument he's one of the best tight ends in the nation. How important is that connection between him and Pavia to be a focal point of this offense?
I mean, it's certainly really important. I think Eli's been a little bit banged up throughout the course of camp, so we've got to make sure that he continues to stay healthy. He's a lot faster, guys, than people realize. I think he can get up to like a top speed of about 21-ish miles per hour, which is going to be in the mix of, I don't want to say the fastest wide receivers, but like, the dude's got wheels for his size. He's so critical, obviously, for the offense, and is such a focal point. He can help be a cog and a distraction to open up other people in the offense too. And certainly the way that Diego and Eli interact, it goes so much more than just on the field. Clearly, Eli is Diego's top and most trusted target. But for those that watched the Netflix documentary, and specifically the episode that so revolved around Vanderbilt beating Alabama, you could see it off the field too, kind of the perfect yin and yang of Diego's, buoyancy and bigness and confidence, and kind of the steadying factor of Eli. They fit together so well. Of course, they came from New Mexico State together. It is a wonderful partnership, and certainly Vanderbilt needs both of those guys healthy.
Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers, they get all the headlines, possible first-round pick and what Diego's done. But some newcomers on this team through the transfer portal, Keanu Coate coming in from Alabama, CJ Hurd, the safety from FAU. Either of those guys or any of the other newcomers standing out as you've seen Vandy throughout the fall camp process?
I think the position, if I'm going to go like make a prediction, which is usually a ridiculous fallacy and flaw, if I'm going to do anything remotely close to that, the position that I'm so much intrigued and optimistic and think that they could be kind of the unexpected hero, or the up and comer of the season, would be the wide receiving position in the core of wide receivers that Vanderbilt has. Junior Sherrill, of course, a local product and of 4th and 1 fame versus Alabama, is back. Richie Hoskins, guys, has gotten better. Like, he was a lacrosse athlete coming out of high school and played, small college football, caught a touchdown versus Kentucky last year. He's gotten better at route running and understanding his assignments. And they brought in, just some burners. Trey Richardson is really fast. He's not that big. He's 5'9", 5'10", but he's going to start on the outside because he's so fast, and he can stretch the defense just to change the defense and open up windows, guys. And there's this kid, Caleb Barnett, who's a freshman, and he's electrically fast as well. And he probably only stands 5'8"-ish. And then you've got a trusted source in Trent Hudson, who came from New Mexico State to Mississippi State to Vanderbilt, that Diego knows. And you can add pieces out of the tight end room like Bryson Coleman and Cole Spence. I think a position that could pop unexpectedly in a positive way for Vanderbilt would be that receiving crew.
One more for you, Andrew. We've kind of talked about the transition from last season to this season. You had a great year last year, one of the best in Vanderbilt football history, and now you move on to this season. If you're Clark Lee, looking at the microscope that Vanderbilt is under this year, not just by the SEC, but by the nation with Diego Pavia, and obviously people have watched the SEC documentary, what is the message to Vanderbilt this year to sustain success from last year?
So I'm going to give you a little bit of a coach answer. But I do think it's kind of how they go about it. And it's not just Clark. I think it's most coaches and most teams. Like, I think a lot of I don't think necessarily like individual teams and games always totally translate one season, one game to the next. Like if you do or don't execute in an individual play or moment, like it doesn't really matter. I think program momentum over the course of years certainly matters externally, but like 75% of the roster is back, guys, right? Somewhere in that territory. 75% of the production or whatever. That's 25% that's new. You still have to figure out how that 25% interacts with the 75%. And you've got to figure out how the 75% interacts with the new 25%. And you don't know how that's going to work until you're actually under the pressure and the stress of the game. My point of all of that is, I think Clark has learned, and the coaching staff has been really good with Jerry Kill and Tim Beck. Like, you've got to focus on the smallest stuff that's right in front of you. Like, can you execute today? Can you execute the plays that you need to today to be successful? The how does the program sustain momentum year over year? That it only matters if you can execute in the moment to take care of your business. Like I had a coach once tell me, like, people get so fixated, and this was years ago as a basketball coach. Like, people get fixated on how teams change from year to year, and he's like, that's not really everything. It's more how you adjust and adapt throughout the course of this season. You're going to deal with injuries. You're going to deal with games that you don't expect, positively and negatively. Like, how do you handle all of the in-season stuff that truly can define the success of a season? It's not just what roster building did you do from one year to the next, because you're going to get thrown curveballs that you have to handle well in the season. So I'm right there with you. Like, the program has to sustain momentum year over year, but to execute it, to get to that point, coaches drill down on like the day to day, and you just have to, because if you get caught up in the other stuff, you're toast. So I think Clark has been really good about saying, let's execute the play, let's execute today, and that's how you sustain it year over year.
Andrew, really appreciate you taking some time with us. Can't believe the season is already here, but excited to be up there with you and Norm and Kevin tomorrow. 4:30 pregame, 6 o'clock kickoff. Vandy taking on Charleston Southern. Andrew, thanks for coming on.
As always, guys, thank you.
Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt football. Again, you can listen to the broadcast right here on 102.5 The Game. Vandy starting its season tomorrow evening against Charleston Southern. We'll take a break. We'll react to what Andrew had to say and talk a little more about Vandy's outlook this season right after this. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Wrapping up the second hour on this Friday as we take you into Labor Day weekend. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Great conversation with Andrew Allegretta, voice of Vanderbilt footballs. The Commodores start their season tomorrow night. You can listen to that broadcast right here on 102.5 The Game. 6 o'clock kick, 4:30 pregame show. For Vanderbilt, the schedule's tough. Like, we've gone through it. It's not an easy schedule. You got to play Alabama on the road. You have to play Texas on the road. And you have to play South Carolina on the road. This first stretch of the season is really important. Obviously, you expect to win tomorrow against Charleston Southern. You've also got Utah State and Georgia State coming in. So you would hope that those are wins, all at home against non-power conference opponents. Mixed in there, you've got back-to-back weeks at Virginia Tech, at South Carolina. I think if you split those and you go 4-1 heading into that Alabama game, I think you feel pretty good about your chance to go to a bowl game, having home games against your Kentucky Wildcats.
That's going to be a massacre.
Auburn.
Not for me, for them.
I do have to say, I underestimated Missouri, and it was against Central Arkansas last night. So you can't take too much from it.
Right.
But man, they blew out Central Arkansas last night. So, but those are 3 games you think you could win. You win 2 out of the 3, you're bowl eligible again, which for Vanderbilt, that is always a good season if you can get to 6 wins.
I think for Vanderbilt, you've talked the talk. Now you got to walk the walk. Yes, you have a tough schedule, but guess what? You're bulletin board material now. For Alabama, you've talked about them all off season. They want you. For Tennessee, you've talked about them all season. They want you. LSU is coming here. They want you because you were somewhat competitive with them last year in their own home stadium. All these teams that are so tough to beat. Texas, you were competitive with Texas last year here in Nashville.
Only lost by 3.
Now you got to go up there or down there. They're south. You got to go down there and compete with them. They want you. You are on the map. Like it or not, last year put you on the map in the SEC because of not the things you said, but the things you went out there and did. As soon as you beat number 1 Alabama here in Nashville at home, you were put on the map. This was already a successful season once that happened. And anything after that was kind of just a bonus if you're a Vanderbilt fan.
Yeah, I mean, you are not sneaking up on anybody this year now.
No.
Like, there's not going to be a team like Alabama who was, Alabama was coming off that Georgia win, that crazy game where 17-year-old Ryan Williams was splitting defenders and back juking and going 70 yards for touchdowns. Like, crazy game. You get the win. You're the number 1 team in the country. You come and face a Vandy team coming off a bye, and you got punched in the mouth, and you ended up losing. This year, you aren't going to have the advantage of sneaking up on teams because teams know that you're legit now. Vandy is coming into this season as a legit SEC squad. Like, they've got the talent now. You've got to go out there and you got to play your best game against some of these opponents. And early on, like, I think they're going to go into Virginia Tech, and I think they're going to win that game.
Yeah.
That South Carolina game becomes huge at that point. If you're 2-0 heading to Columbia to face what I expect will be a 2-0 South Carolina team.
There's a common denominator there. I just can't put my finger on it.
You can make the assumption, my thoughts on the team they both play. I think that becomes a massive game because guess what? You win that game, all of a sudden you're undefeated heading into that Alabama game. Yeah. You're probably ranked. Like, there is a path for Vandy to put themselves right in the thick of things early on in the season. Now, the stretch of games that could knock them down is that stretch in October where I think it's Alabama, you have LSU at home, you got Texas on the road, and there's one more game in there. It might be Missouri at home. So I think those are the 4 you've got in.
Is it Auburn? Don't they?
It could be Auburn.
Late Plains last year.
No, late in the season they play Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee. I think.
Okay.
So I think it is Missouri mixed in there.
Yeah, you're right.
Like that stretch of games, it's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go in 4-1 at minimum, you split those games, you're in a really good spot. So I think Vandy, we've got to see it. We've got to see them build off of last year. But there's a path early in the season for them to put themselves in a really good spot heading into that Alabama game.
That's why I was so interested to ask Andrew, what does Pavia and the offense need to do tomorrow to set the tone? And his answer was actually the opposite of what I thought he was going to say. He said, do less. Just be comfortable and go with the flow.
Right.
I was thinking he was going to say, and this is what I would do: set the tone.
Yeah.
Punch him in the mouth.
Get out of there early.
Look,
If you can be up 31-0 at halftime, you can pull your starters.
Look, no disrespect to Charleston Southern. I'm sure it's a great school and a good program, but
1-11 last year.
I'm sure it's a great school and they got great students there. But this is SEC football, and Vanderbilt, like we said, you're on the map.
Right. You gotta go prove that you can squash the bug.
I think Vanderbilt needs to just go guns a-blazing tomorrow. Set the tone. That way all these SEC teams look tomorrow and they're looking at film and they're like, Vanderbilt just beat Charleston Southern 81-0.
Yep.
I mean, they may be a problem. This is extremely hypothetical.
81 zip.
Yeah.
Playing on freshman difficulty.
Yeah. I mean, that's as hypothetical as it gets. I don't expect that to be the final score. But what I'm trying to get at is put on a show.
Yeah.
You got a sellout crowd, put on a show for those fans, and then make other teams around the SEC worry about you. Make them circle you on their schedule. I am 99.999% sure that Alabama has you circled on their calendar in red ink.
Yep.
I bet Tennessee has you circled on their calendar in orange ink. You got to put on a show and back up your talk.
Yeah.
And that starts tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it could be easy to look past Charleston Southern to your 2 back-to-back power conference road games, but I think it does help. It's the first game of the year. I'm sure they're itching to get out there, and we'll see what Vandy can do. Again, 6 o'clock kick tomorrow against Charleston Southern. You can listen to the broadcast starting right here at 4:30 with Andrew Allegretta, Norman Jordan, and Kevin Ingram. We'll take a quick break. Again, we're going to spend the whole last hour just whipping around college football. There are enough games this week that we can spend a full hour going through all the big ones. We will do that. Coming up next to wrap up the show, Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Final hour on this Friday. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly alongside you. And because of Labor Day weekend and its layout, we have no NFL this weekend, and we have a whole lot of great college football. We are going to spend the entire hour just going game by game on some of the big college football games here in week one. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Now, we can't do this every week because from here on out, every week we're going to have a Titans game to get ready for, and that's going to be the focus. But it makes it beautiful that this week Titans are off, and we can just focus solely on college football for the next 4 days.
I mean, you're probably going to, well, I'll be here working, but in some capacity, you'll probably be doing the same thing I'm doing, and that's just plopping your butt down and locked in.
So tomorrow morning, my plan is get up just in time, go watch game day. I think it starts at 8 a.m.
Yep.
So I'll get up, watch all of game day.
We'll be on the air.
I might have to dual screen it for Tennessee, Syracuse, and Texas, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think because you got to watch both those games, especially being on the radio in Tennessee. I got to be able to watch what Tennessee does. And we're going to talk about them first here in a second. And then I'm going to go to Vandy pretty much right after that game ends.
Yeah.
And I'll be out there at Vandy for Charleston Southern. Then Sunday, I'm going to find a spot to go watch both those games. Because obviously, being a Virginia Tech guy, I'm going to go find a spot to watch that game. But you got Notre Dame, Miami as the nightcap on Sunday night too. Watch Carson Beck take on the Irish. Jeremiah Love.
So Sunday, I'm obviously a little bit different than you because I watch this and you don't, but there's a WWE event
in Paris, right?
In Paris. And that comes on at 2 p.m, which is genius because I'll watch that live, then it'll end, and Notre Dame Miami's on. I can go right there.
Wow, you're not going to watch the quarterback super battle of Kyron Drones versus Lenora Sellers?
I think I would rather do a lot of things than watch Kyron Drones play football. No offense.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
I'm with you, Jake. I'll watch it.
Anyway.
I'll watch it in your honor.
Once I saw him throw a ball out the back of the end zone last year, I was kind of out on watching Virginia Tech
that
football
wasn't
for a
him.
while.
That wasn't him. He got benched, or he didn't get benched. He had cramps, and he couldn't finish the game. It was Colin Schlee who threw that pass. Anyway, 615-737-1025. Any thoughts on college football? We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's start with Tennessee and Syracuse tomorrow, 11 a.m. in Atlanta. This is an interesting game because Tennessee pretty clearly is the superior roster, superior program, but there's a lot of question marks around Joey Aguilar. Yeah. And I think that is what Tennessee fans, I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Tennessee fans, you're expecting to win this game. I think they're going to win this game. But how does Joey Aguilar look? And does he look like he can, at the very least, be the game manager you need to take what is a talented roster back into playoff contention? That's going to be the focus tomorrow in Atlanta.
He's just got to throw to the guys that are wearing orange.
That's true.
Which will be both of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, on a similar level to Vanderbilt, it's kind of about making a statement for Tennessee, right? Like you want to go out and see Joey Aguilar just put a stamp on things. How does he look as a quarterback? It would be really, really funny for Vols fans if he has a great day and then Nico just looks awful. Which is kind of Utah, a legitimate possibility.
For sure it could happen. Especially, I mean, Nico, the comments this week, I'm sure Tennessee fans would love that. If Aguilar goes out against Syracuse and, goes 250 and 3
so with
touchdowns.
that on-3 burner account that he thought was real. Did you see this?
I didn't see this, no.
Okay, so you know that Twitter account, No 3
Sports?
Oh,
yeah.
So they put out a fake tweet, like they always do, that said, Nico is likely to be benched and start in, or their backup quarterback will start in place. So Nico decides, oh, this is a real tweet. So he DMs the account and says, I don't appreciate you people at On3 spreading lies about me. UCLA told me and my dad that I would be the starter from the beginning. And people are just having a heyday with that.
Don't mess with Nico's dad.
Yeah, Big Nick. Don't mess with him.
Tennessee-Syracuse is an interesting game. And
it is.
Like, again, you mentioned comparing it to Vanderbilt. Like, Charleston Southern and Syracuse are different. Syracuse is no pushover. And, like, is there a scenario where things go wrong for Tennessee and Syracuse wins this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely. But you're right. I think Tennessee, if they want to prove that, because most of the time when we talk about Nico, we get texters or we get comments in the YouTube chat about how Nico wasn't all that good last year anyway. Joey Aguilar can be an upgrade. He's got to prove that. And if they go out there and they wipe the floor with Syracuse tomorrow, I think the national conversation around Tennessee changes in a big way. It goes from, yeah, this is probably a top 20 to 25 team in the country, but nothing more than that, to, okay, this team could end up actually competing for a playoff spot again this year.
Yeah, and I think the quarterback conversation changes a lot too, because what's the knock on Joey Aguilar? He turns the ball over a lot.
Yeah.
He did it a lot.
How
at
many
App
picks
State.
did he have at App State 2 years ago?
I'd have to
14.
Yeah.
I'd have to 14. So if he can come out tomorrow and have a good game and maybe throw 2 touchdown passes and no interceptions, I think at least for a little while, the national perception on Tennessee and their quarterback problem changes a little bit.
Yeah.
They think, okay, well, obviously it's one game, so you got to take it with a slight grain of salt. It says a lot because you're beating a Power 4 program, and Syracuse is a decent ACC team, which isn't saying a lot because the ACC sucks. But your quarterback had a good game against a Power 4 team on a neutral floor. I think that would help the national perception of your quarterback situation a little bit, because you could start to see the narratives come out from national media, not Vol media, national media, saying, okay, maybe Tennessee made the right call in picking this guy up in the portal and starting.
And that's the question marks that are holding Tennessee back in terms of national perception and why they're ranked, 23rd in the polls heading in the AP poll. Like, it's because they don't know about the quarterback. I don't think anybody's going out there and saying Joey Aguilar sucks, but it's like, we haven't seen him play at an SEC program before. He's got to go prove he can do it. I think that he has an opportunity to go out there and make a statement. 2438 says, if y'all don't think that Syracuse has a chance to win this game, then y'all really don't know football. Fran Brown has been recruiting and getting really good players. Syracuse by 7. I mean, I said Syracuse has a chance to win.
I would pick Tennessee to win this game, but I'm not ruling out the possibility that Syracuse comes out and wins this game.
Right.
It's a very possible scenario.
I would probably guess Tennessee by 7 to 10 would be my guess right now. But I don't know if there's any result that would truly shock me in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's an evenly matched game, because I think on paper Tennessee is probably the better team than Syracuse.
Oh, for sure.
But you got to take into account this is a new quarterback. And like the texter said, Fran Brown is a good coach. He's been recruiting, and I think they have a new quarterback as well, obviously, because Kyle McCord left for the NFL.
Is it the Boston College guy?
Steve Angeli.
Yeah, Angeli.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, former Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame and BC.
Yep.
So, no, I think Syracuse has a chance to win the game, but Tennessee's 14-point favorites right now?
I'm looking at ESPN Bet right now. Tennessee is a 13.5-point favorite. The over-under set at 51.5.
Right, so
it's a little steep.
The expectation is that Tennessee wins this game. Crazier things have happened, for sure. Syracuse could very well be in this game and win this game.
I think 14's a little bit steep.
I think Tennessee, if they win by more than 2 touchdowns, that's a really good game for them.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, I would pick Tennessee to win this game simply because if you stack the rosters next to each other, like if I printed out a sheet of paper of Tennessee's roster and then Syracuse's roster and put them up together and matched them up, I think Tennessee has a bit of the edge.
Tennessee's got the edge, for sure.
But to the texter's point, Fran Brown's a good coach. Syracuse is a solid developing program. That's your program, Jake. So
it was. I'm at Oregon now.
Yeah, we traded jobs, didn't we?
Yes, we did. No, you're right. Worse teams have beaten better teams in college football. They do it every single year.
Yeah.
So anything can happen, but I think Tennessee tomorrow, what you're looking at is Joey Aguilar good enough to keep this team afloat in the playoff race throughout the season, or is the quarterback position really a true problem for this team?
Yeah.
And I think we'll know a lot more after tomorrow's game. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you want to chime in, our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Plenty more to get to around Labor Day weekend. Lots of college football. We are going to talk about a couple of other big games coming up next. We're going to save the 2 big ones for the back half of the hour. Alabama going on the road to FSU. Can Thomas Castellanos back up all of the smack talk that he's been talking about the Crimson Tide over the last couple of weeks. And we mentioned the Miami Notre Dame game. Carson Beck is now a Hurricane. Notre Dame coming off a national championship runner-up.
We're not doing a full breakdown of Kentucky and Toledo.
If you want to talk Kentucky and Toledo,
I don't care.
I will give
I
you
have
45 seconds to do so.
That's all I need.
We'll do that next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Spending this whole last hour going through what is a phenomenal Labor Day weekend of college football. 3 top 10 matchups, plenty of other great games. We just previewed Tennessee and Syracuse. We're going to get into Alabama and Florida State, Miami, Notre Dame next, but I did tell Connor he gets 45 seconds to talk Kentucky, Toledo. Ready, set, go.
Okay, it's not going to be a good game because both teams suck. Toledo has returned a lot, pretty much 90% of their rosters back. Kentucky's only favored by 7.5, and that tells you everything you know about the state of Kentucky football. It's not good. As Dustin in Hopkinsville on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com says, he's staying away from the game because Toledo might be ranked after 2 games. I do expect Kentucky to win this game just because they're at home. It's an unranked conference opponent, and it's a lower FBS team. But I wouldn't be surprised if Toledo won because Kentucky football sucks. Case and point and done.
Wow, with 8 seconds to spare.
There
Well
we
done.
go.
I realized about halfway through that my camera's not working, so no one could see that. So I did have a stopwatch up. Great radio there. There we go. There's your Kentucky-Toledo preview.
The Kentucky Minute with Connor Newton,
our resident Wildcats fan. Alabama, Florida State coming up 2:30 on ABC tomorrow. Maybe one of the more underrated games of the week because you look at the top 10 matchups tomorrow morning, evening, and then Sunday evening. This one kind of falls through the cracks. Florida State coming off a 2-10 season, but still plenty of talent on that roster. Do we think Florida State can stay in this game, or does the Alabama revenge tour start tomorrow in Tallahassee?
I think both. I think on some level, Florida State is playing at home with a different quarterback who is probably better than the one that they had last year. But that quarterback likes to talk, man. He's been talking a lot.
Thomas Castellanos, I mean, that dude has no shortage of confidence, that's for sure.
Good on him, I guess. I kind of expect this one to stay close in the first half just because it's a road environment for Bama. Tallahassee's not an easy place to play if the crowd shows up. I think some of them you'll have an environment tomorrow. I think so. I don't think anyone is not anyone, but I don't think a lot of them have just fully given up on Florida State football and Mike Norvell. That said, I think it'll be close in the first half. Like maybe you go into the half 14-7 Alabama or something like that. Then I think Alabama's talent just takes over. Because you look at Alabama's roster, and I have them in my national championship game. We did this last week, but they have one of the deepest and most pissed off rosters in the country. And I think Kalen DeBoer's talent just kind of takes over and Alabama wins the game by double digits.
Yeah, Alabama, I don't know if I'm sold on Kalen DeBoer as the guy to continue the Alabama championship pedigree, but I do think that team is way better than what Florida State has. And I think that team is better than what they showed last year at times. I think Alabama wins this game by 20 plus.
They're favored by 14.5, so another big spread here.
That's
go
interesting too.
I wouldn't go 20.5. Or I'm sorry,
14.5.
I would go around 14.
Really?
What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't pick Alabama to win by like 21 like you would. I would say they win like 35-21 or something like that.
Well, I guess just like we talked about with Tennessee, the quarterback is the question. Ty Simpson, son of UT Martin's head coach, and he's a former 5-star recruit. I think he's good, but just like Aguilar, you haven't seen him.
The biggest thing for Alabama was them getting Ryan Grubb back because I feel like Ty Simpson is like the perfect quarterback for Ryan Grubb's system. Jalen Milroe just did not mesh well.
That's where I was going to go
with DeBoer. So Ty Simpson is a much better fit, I think. And he still has all the tools. He is a former 5-star.
Yeah,
so.
That's where I was going to go. History has proven that when Kalen DeBoer has his quarterback that he loves, it's a pretty successful season for him. Like Michael Penix was Kalen DeBoer's quarterback.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson, granted, DeBoer didn't recruit him, but that seems to be his guy. I don't think Milroe was really Kalen DeBoer's guy.
He kind of got stuck with him, and it's like he was a talented enough guy that you weren't going to bench him, but
I mean, he couldn't throw the ball.
I agree. I think Simpson fits that system better, and that's a really good point from Parker. Like Ryan Grubb, we saw what DeBoer and Grubb were able to do with Washington when they had Michael Penix and all those wide receivers. Now you got an Alabama roster.
And all those wide receivers.
And 18-year-old Ryan Williams. He is 18 now.
I think he's 18 now.
I think he's 18 now. Or
Should be.
He's still
should
17.
Be, should be.
I mean, Isaiah Horton is a good receiver on Alabama's squad as well.
Jeremy Bernard.
They do have questions at the running back position with Jam Miller being out until the Georgia game, but they're going to have to go running back by committee And fortunately, their non-conference up until that point isn't overly challenging.
Yeah.
They have Florida State on the road. They welcome Wisconsin to Tuscaloosa, which I don't think Wisconsin's going to be that great of a team.
I mean, it's at least power conference teams.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're playing Clemson.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they'll be fine up until then.
I think this is a good filler game between Texas, Ohio State, and Clemson, LSU.
It's the kind that I don't want to say take a nap during, but you kind of put on in the back and kind of just work on other
This
things.
is one that you could put multiple games on at the same time.
The quad
The
screen's
quad
coming
box.
on.
Yeah,
Quad
there you
box.
go. We'll talk Texas, Ohio State. We'll talk Clemson, LSU. But before we do, Miami, Notre Dame, Sunday night. This is an intriguing one. I think both these teams are possible playoff teams, but for Miami, this would be a massive data point on their resume if they're able to pull off a win. Carson Beck, I don't like Carson Beck, and I don't think he played very well last year, but the talent is obviously there. I mean, he was being talked about as the number 1 overall pick heading into last year. I think Notre Dame's the better team, though. And Jeremiah Love, not getting as much hype as I think he should as a Heisman candidate.
Mm-hmm. No, I love Jeremiah Love, pun intended. But Notre Dame's a young offense. They got a freshman quarterback in CJ Carr, who beat out my boy Kenny Minchie. Go Knights. He's a freshman. They got Great House at the wide receiver position, who I also think is a pretty young player. It's going to be, how did they piece the offense together? And do they go run heavy, which I could expect them to with Jeremiah Love? I mean, that's maybe the best running back in the entire country. But it is going to be a tale of which quarterback connects with their offense better. And that was kind of the story for Carson Beck last year, is he just couldn't get on the same page as his receivers.
Yep.
Can he get on the same page with Miami, who's obviously a new look offense with him? And, you lose Cam Ward. Wonder where he went. You lose Xavier Restrepo, him too. Elijah Arroyo, all of those key contributors to the Miami offense last year are gone.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see how their offense looks. But
their top half dozen pass catchers gone from last year.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
It is the definition of new look offense. But I'm with you, Jake. I think Notre Dame is the better team, and I would probably pick them to win.
I agree. I think I would go with the Irish. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We got 30 minutes left in the show. We are doing a carousel around college football because it is a huge weekend. Week 1, we've got 2 games left to get to, and they are the 2 biggest games of the weekend. Saturday night, Clemson and LSU. Saturday morning, early afternoon, if you're on the East Coast, Texas, Ohio State. We will finish the show with those 2 top 10 matchups coming up next. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up. You're on 102.5 The Game. It is beautiful. We've got a full weekend of college football. Started yesterday even and goes all the way through Monday when Bill Belichick makes his debut with North Carolina against TCU.
You know my beef with this song? It
What you
sounds
got?
like a 1980s crime drama theme.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like it sounds like I'm watching an episode of Dallas or something.
Yeah, it's a fair point. There have been better college football anthems for sure. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. We are looking around the phenomenal slate of college football this weekend. Do want to mention a couple of games tonight. Georgia Tech, Colorado, Auburn, Baylor. Both intriguing, although they are not really all that important to the overall landscape of college football, I guess I would say.
But they're Power 4 teams, and it's college football, so you should watch.
Auburn Baylor's going to be wild.
Auburn Baylor is going to be fun, and I kind of like Baylor in that one.
I kind of do too, actually.
I think Auburn is a little overrated, and like they bring in Jackson Arnold, the quarterback from Oklahoma, who just kind of flamed out last year. I don't know if that's going to make them all that much better.
And he's looked rough in camp from what I've heard.
So that should be a fun one. And then I picked Georgia Tech as my sleeper yesterday.
Did you?
They need to beat Coach Prime tonight.
Who'd Frazier pick?
Frazier went with Utah, I believe.
No, that was me.
That was you. Who did Frazier?
I forgot who he. UNLV. Dan
yeah,
Mullen?
yeah, he did pick Dan Mullen, who just beat Idaho State by 7.
Yeah,
Dan. Frazier.
I will say I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to Jackson Arnold because the scheme at Oklahoma last year was really rough and they fired their OC. So that kind of tells you what you need to know.
Yeah.
We'll see if Hugh Freeze can work some magic with him, but I haven't sold my stock yet.
Yeah.
I'm not in on Hugh Freeze.
I'm not feeling great about Auburn. Could they shock us? Sure. I doubt it, though. The big games of the weekend, though. Saturday night, Clemson, LSU. Who has the real Death Valley? We're going to find out. The real Death Valley is LSU.
Yes.
But who is the better top 10 Tigers team? We will find that out. Garrett Nussmeier versus Cade Klubnik. Brian Kelly versus Dabo Sweeney.
2 former Coach Newt programs.
Going
1 current.
to be an absolute blast. I'm very torn here because I do hate that Texas Ohio State is being played at noon.
Yeah.
But it is nice that you have 2 great games, 2 top 10 games between likely playoff teams, and you do get to enjoy each of them equally and don't have to worry about flipping back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, if I were in charge of setting, the times for these, I would have flipped them. I would have had LSU and Clemson be the noon game. And then number 1 versus number 3 be the night game because that's the one everyone wants to watch. But
right.
I am equally as excited for this one as I am for the noon game. As far as how do I think it's going to play out, it seems like LSU every year schedules these big time Power 4 teams in week 1 and always seems to lose. Like last year it was USC, and then the year before it was Florida State. And Florida State obviously went undefeated that year. I feel like it's going to be the same story this year. I think you've heard me talk about Clemson before. I think
you picked Clemson to win the national title.
I think Clemson has one of the best rosters in college football because of their stability. They have returned so much talent. Cade Klubnik, I think, is being looked at as maybe not the best quarterback in the draft, but maybe he is. And I think he's a really good college quarterback. I think Dabo is kind of going into this season with a mentality of, you guys have kind of forgotten about us. And how funny would it be if Clemson wins the national championship and Dabo says, see, we don't need the transfer portal. You can
That's
win.
the ultimate mic drop moment right there. Has to be.
It would be so good.
The ultimate mic drop moment.
I have my own opinions on Dabo Sweeney, but I think he's kind of corny. But
I really don't like either of these coaches very much.
I think Brian Kelly is the more evil of the two. So I like Dabo better than I like Brian Kelly. But I mean, LSU is a good team too. Garrett Nussmeier is a good quarterback. Speed is the message on the offense. Like they get my guy Barium Brown, former Pro Cone player,
right?
And they've got some other key receivers in that room as well. But it always seems like in week 1 when they play these games that the offense just doesn't work no matter how talented they are.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be very similar to like the USC game last year where it's a competitive game. Clemson ends up pulling it out at the end. I do think if you're a Titans fan out there, you want both these quarterbacks to put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I hate looking ahead to the draft in August, but this is a Titans team that I think you expect is going to be picking towards the top of the draft. You want as many of these quarterbacks to show out this year as possible so you can trade out of one of those picks.
Yeah.
So
You want someone to fall in love with one of these quarterbacks.
and these are kind of the two that I think it hinges on. I think Lenore Sellers doesn't really have to perform a whole lot. I think a team might fall in love with him just based on the traits of being big, fast, strong arm. But
and then I don't think Arch Manning is coming out of the draft.
Arch Manning, I would doubt would come out to the draft, but there's a chance. But these are the two that could end up being top 5 picks. And I think you're looking at this in prime time in Death Valley, number 2. And you've got Nussmeier versus Klubnik. You're hoping for a shootout here. And I'll be over at Vandy for this one, so I won't be able to watch, but I am excited to keep up with this one because maybe could be the game of the week. I know Texas Ohio State, like that's a top 3 matchup, but there is just something about this matchup that I feel like we're going to get a great game.
And it's two teams that, granted, it's not a rivalry, but I don't think these two teams like each other.
No.
LSU beat Clemson in a national championship a couple of years ago with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence.
Which is the last time LSU won a week 1 game, 2019.
Wow. Yeah.
With Joe Burrow.
Interesting. Yeah.
For whatever reason, they're allergic to winning week 1. I don't know what it is.
My gut just tells me that continues this week. I don't know if LSU has the defense to stop Clemson's offense. I think Cade Klubnik he's kind of a sneaky quarterback in that he can carve up your secondary before you even know it.
And Clemson's defense, really good. Peter Woods, the defensive tackle, is it TJ Parker?
TJ Parker
on the edge.
AJ Terrell's brother is at corner.
Right. Like this is a really talented Clemson team. And you win this game and you just stroll your way through the ACC. Clemson will be right back in the playoff.
You kind of look at the ACC. No disrespect to Miami, but you're looking like this is probably Clemson's conference to lose.
Right. It's Miami, and it's a bunch of teams that there's maybe some hope that they end up being a top 25 team.
Yeah,
like a Louisville, Georgia Tech,
Pitt,
SMU,
Florida State, SMU, like all these teams that are kind of borderline top 25, top 30 teams. Clemson, you win this game. As long as you just go like 10-2, 11-1, get into the ACC championship game, you're feeling good.
You're probably a top 4 seed.
What does Brian Kelly do if they lose this one? Last year he slammed the table. We keep doing the same things.
Yeah, maybe.
What does he do here?
Maybe he'll throw the water bottle this time.
Yeah, that's true.
At the reporters.
Going to be very uncomfortable in Baton Rouge if they lose.
I mean,
those conversations about hot seat going to heat up real quick.
Right.
I would feel bad for his family.
Yeah, his family might have to go find somewhere else.
Maybe he'll go back to the locker room and film TikToks with his guys.
Yeah,
just awkwardly stand there
on the spinning thing.
It's so bad.
Oh wait, my camera's not working. I was gonna do the spin, but doesn't work when I'm not on the stream.
Got to hold up the L too.
There you go. Yeah.
It looks. He's so like Dabo's cringy because Dabo. Do you remember the TikTok of Dabo where he does the nursery rhyme?
Yeah.
I mean, they're both
But
pretty.
he's got the gloves on and everything.
I do think Dabo is probably a really nice person.
I think he's toned down a little bit too over the last couple of years.
Brian Kelly, especially after watching the SEC show, like it's kind of amplified my hatred.
He's turned into more of a villain since he left Notre Dame. I don't know if he was ever liked, but
he suffers from Calipari syndrome.
Yeah,
and it is never my fault, no matter what.
He does have a lot of Coach Cal in him. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. LSU Clemson, the nightcap on Saturday. That'll be the ABC primetime game. Tigers on Tigers, Death Valley on Death Valley. Going to be a fun one on Saturday night. But we got one more game to preview. It is the big one. Texas, Ohio State. Number 1 Longhorns, number 3 Buckeyes. First time ever, I believe, or at least I think ESPN said 1978 that the number 1 team in the preseason poll is an underdog. Will it be the Buckeyes or will it be Arch Manning and the Longhorns? We will talk about that coming up next as we wrap up the show on this Friday. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. See, this one's better.
Much better.
This is a great one.
Very nostalgic.
I feel like I'm in the loading menu of College Football 25 again with all of the drums. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Last call for phones here on Next Man Up, 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. We're wrapping up the show looking at the biggest game of the weekend, maybe a national championship preview. Texas, Ohio State from the shoe tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff. Before we get to the game, it is also a very important day because it is Lee Corso's final game day coming up 8 a.m. tomorrow. I watched the documentary and I recommend it highly to anyone who hasn't seen it. Not so fast, my friend. It's hard not to shed a tear watching the compilation of all of his former colleagues and players that he's covered talking about his impact on college football. I think tomorrow going to be another emotional one for him as he makes his final headgear pick back where he made his first one, putting on the Brutus head in Columbus.
Yeah, I'll try to watch as much of it as I can. Obviously, Parker and I will be here.
Yep.
Which will be on the air from 9 to 11 to get you set just in time.
There you go.
But it's going to be emotional for him, man. I mean, you and I have never known a time where Lee Corso was not a part of game day.
No.
Like, he's always been on there, always been doing the headgear picks. I lean Brutus as far as his pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled one more over us and put the Bevo on.
Yeah. How funny would that be if he does one last fake out and pulls off the Brutus head and puts on Bevo?
Or the opposite, says he's going to pick Bevo and then goes with his first love, Brutus.
Yeah. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Lee Corso making his final headgear pick, his final show on College Game Day. So that's one I'll be watching, but I'll be listening into Weekend Huddle too. This will be my last segment of the week, but you haven't heard the last of Connor Newt and Parker Kelly.
No,
they're
you're
on
not.
air with you tonight for Game Blitz and tomorrow for Weekend Huddle. So plenty more of these two coming up this weekend. But let's get into the game. Texas, Ohio State. This is about as big as it gets for a non-conference matchup. I mean, in the coaches poll, these are the number 1 and 2 teams in the country. You're going to see two unproven quarterbacks, Arch Manning, who has played before, and the hype around him is astronomical, and Julian Sayin for Ohio State, who's just as highly of a recruited player, has not been out there quite yet. I think this could be the coming out party for one of those two guys tomorrow.
I mean, I firmly believe that these are the two most talented rosters in the entire country.
Yeah, it's hard not to look at it.
You can make the case for Penn State, but right now, putting these two teams up together, I have no idea where to go. Like, on one hand, I think, okay, Ohio State's the defending national champions. They're playing at home. That crowd's going to be fired up. They've got the most talented wide receiver, maybe the best player in the entire country, and Jeremiah Smith on their team. They may win this one. But then I don't think Arch Manning's been listening to the hype about him. I think he, is just going to go out there and play the way he knows how to play, and maybe that pays off for him. And Texas has some good wide receivers and a good offense, and Steve Sarkisian is such a good coach under pressure, then maybe I lean Texas. So I genuinely do not know which way to go.
It's a great way to kick off college football season. Like, I know we got week 0 and Kansas State, Iowa State was a good game last week, and there are games Thursday and Friday, but the first one that everybody's going to be locked in for, you get up, you watch game day, and you lock in for this game.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to start it. I mean, the scheduler's really cooked here with the schedule we have starting with this one. And I'm with you. I don't know where to go. Like, I'm not going to even have us make picks on this because I think it's that close. Maybe lean Ohio State just because
I kind of lean that way
too. It's the shoe, but there's a reason that this is basically a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody really knows.
Yeah. Like, I'm with you. I kind of lean Ohio State simply because it's at home, but Texas, I think, is right in the top of the conversation for a national championship appearance. And I think there's something about an SEC school rolling into a Big Ten school that just locks me into picking Texas.
Yeah. I mean, this is not just a game. There are larger macro things involved here of SEC versus Big Ten. And man, how high does the Arch Manning hype go if he looks really good tomorrow? Like, let's say
Oh my God.
let's
Paul
say he
Feinbaum
goes
might have a
out
seizure.
and completes 75% of his passes for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and leads a game-winning drive on the road. Like,
Paul Feinbaum won't have a show next week.
yeah, Paul
He will
Feinbaum.
be dead.
I'm glad the Titans already have made their pick at
Yes.
quarterback and have Cam Ward, because all of those quarterback needy teams are all going to start salivating over Arch Manning if he has a really good game. And
And
again,
they're going to try and get him out.
there's no way to know whether he's actually going to come out this year. That hasn't been the way the Manning family runs. And I know Archie said that he's going to be right back at Texas for next year. I think if he goes and wins the Heisman and is the lockdown number 1 pick,
Then probably.
there's no way they send him back to Texas.
Yeah, but if he has, a Quinn Ewers like season, like last year, then I could see him being back. I really could.
It's going to be the Arch Manning saga is going to be very interesting. What would really throw a wrench in things is if he looks horrible tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh man, did
we were wrong.
Did we overhype this guy? Which probably yes, but about how much did you overhype him? Matthew in Nashville says, don't forget though, what happened the last time we saw Matt Patricia assistant coach a team? He ruined Mac Jones. So
yeah, I think that's more of a Mac Jones was never an NFL caliber quarterback than Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia was also running the offense. He's running the defense.
Right. Bill Belichick
now
didn't help out Mac Jones with, putting Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as his offensive coordinators.
I mean, that Alabama team was loaded. Like you had Devontae Smith, who was your Heisman winner that year. You had Najee Harris in the backfield. You had Jalen Waddle on that team. Matt Jones, that's the KSR guy. Mac Jones was kind of a game manager. He was kind of like your Kirk Cousins that you throw in and you know what you're getting out of him for a college quarterback.
Yeah.
Especially with this talented of an offense. I think that kind of helped his draft stock because they said, well, he can manage a situation with that roster. Certainly he can manage a situation with a worse roster. And then that backfired completely. So
Matthew Nashville also adds Patricia was a disaster with the Lions too. So, but
as a head coach,
but he was a very good defensive coordinator with the Patriots before that. Don't want to completely pile on Matt Patricia, although the last 2 stops have not been good. Dustin from Hopkinsville says, I would say Ohio State, one thing, people underestimate how good Will Howard was there. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Like Will Howard, he made some plays in that playoff run. They also did lose both of their top 2 edge rushers, Jack Sawyer and JT Tuiomala.
Yeah. Just JTT.
Doing my best with that one. But they do have as Graham Rahal, who was with us yesterday, getting ready for the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix starting tomorrow. So one of the IndyCar drivers we had in, Graham Rahal, big Ohio State fan, he mentioned, hey, the star power for this Buckeyes team, Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, you don't have that anywhere else. So going to be a great game. I don't really know which way to go. Are we making picks here?
Let's just do it.
I'm going Buckeyes.
Okay, I'll go Texas.
I'm going Texas.
All right, I'm alone on the Buckeyes.
Because think about it, Ohio State doesn't have the same problems everybody else has. When they lose people to the draft, they still recruit 4- and 5-star guys. So those guys are just waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
So they don't have the same problems like if Syracuse lost everybody from last year's team, it seems like. They don't recruit 4- and 5-star guys. So
I'm picking Texas, but I don't feel very strongly about it.
Right.
Like I could see it going the other way just as easily.
I agree. I am just looking forward to what should be a great game and a great weekend of college football. We've got 3 top 10 matchups. We got quarterbacks everywhere. Going to be a blast. We hope you enjoy it. We will not be in on Monday, but I believe these guys will be, right?
We will, yeah.
Are you taking this time slot on Monday?
Yes, 9 to 11:30.
There we go. So Weekend Huddle will be on 9 to 11:30 on Monday. The daily shows will return on Tuesday. So excited for that. That'll about wrap things up for us. Make sure to tune in to Connor and Parker tonight.
Still the words out of my mouth.
On Game Blitz.
Starting at 6, we'll take you through the mid-state. Then we'll get into the Strike and Spare pregame show as we have our Metro Public Schools game of the week. McGavick is visiting Hunter's Lane.
Yep.
They will carry that game with Chase and Bubba Spears on the call. And Nick Frazier will be on the sideline as well. Then right after that game, Parker Kelly and I will take you all around the mid-state for as long as we possibly can tonight.
There you go. Starting at 6.
Starting at 6.
Tune in 6
don't know when it
o'clock
ends.
right after DVD here on 102.5 The Game. And then again, it'll be a quick turnaround. They'll be on the air 9 to 11 tomorrow,
We will
9
not
to
sleep
11:30 on Monday. That'll do it for us here on Next Man Up. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. You're on 102.5 The Game.